Hello all, dear friends. And it seems that I finally understood why fantasy and so, those genres that often arouse negativity and disgust among many, are so beloved by me. But think about it, you can find anything in these sometimes ridiculous magical stories. From turning people into different objects to doctors in suits and ties to modernity among medieval adventurers in shabby armor that don't look harmonious together at all. And that's why I respect the anime industry. They cram things in here that in reality and the considerations imposed by society, like the same logic and consistency in the stories, no one and no way would miss in the masses. So against conventional standards, today I found another good fun, with notes of romance, fantasy, and anime, where the heroes are disgustingly abandoned, but he did not give up and went on with his life with pleasure. A work called I Got Kicked Out of the Heroes Guild because I was a bad companion, so I decided to live leisurely in the middle of nowhere. But before we are too late exorcise loneliness, I wanted to ask you to do me two favors already. The first is to like the video. The second is to subscribe to the channel. Get ready and let's go. Welcome to the town of Zoltan, perhaps the quietest and most peaceful place in this magical world, where the main character named Red lives. The guy exists outside of time and space, quietly goes about his daily business, and tries to save up for his dream in the form of his own little business. In general, the man gets high, but it was not always so ordinary and unsightly. In fact, Rare used to live in a more active environment, among the serious warriors and a native sister of the heroine of this world named Ruth. But out of disagreement with this unfriendly-looking mage, Erex himself had to embark on a solitary adventure, for according to Erex, Red is unable to continue walking alongside the heroine. After all, her brother has no traits, particularly a special divine gift that would allow him to stand out from the rest. Generalizing Rare is a sad exception to the rule, and all of his power lies in pumping up the most standard skills. That's it. There's nothing else the guy surprises. That's why Ares thought his expulsion from the squad was an appropriate decision, though he wasn't even interested in his sister's opinion, just an egoist. But as a matter of fact, Wright himself did not directly cry over the parting. Not at all. He was dashing in his solitary existence, especially when he settled in Zoltan. He made friends and comrades here, and became a great person for the civilians, who in addition for his achievements in front of the people discounted to build a nice pharmacy. As a matter of fact, he would have lived and lived on his job with the medicine. But the peace was interrupted by a girl from the past. With bright yellow hair from the old days, came to visit Mr. Rit. Her acquaintance with Rad and the backstory was not an easy one. The girl herself is a member of the royal family. She was misunderstood by many for her choice of profession as a knight, and in general, Rit is such a fighting in it, for which she just in the past was picked up by the heroine's squad to help mop up the demons. Nevertheless, she couldn't stay with Reed's sister's group for long. She was confused about a lot of things, and her ruthless eyes plunged her into fear. But despite that small period of work together, Rhythm had already managed to fall in love, not with anyone but with Red, and the feelings have remained to this day. And if he now lives alone, it's time for Rit to drop everything and move in with permission to the guy. Abrupt, unexpected, out of the blue, but it won't be boring. In the company of a cute partner, Rare began at least go out more often and became more sociable, told his girlfriend about his life flow, how he survived after leaving the squad, how he comprehended the knowledge in the divine gift, and realized that for a huge number of people fantasy gift of a god turns into a deadly curse. Like if a child is gifted, say, at birth, with the ability to easily learn knives or any other weapons, then, optionally, without proper guidance and training, such children can become murderers, thieves, and all kinds of scum of society in the aftermath. And it is ironic that, for example, Red's sister, the human warrior Ruthie, who holds the highest title of hero, logically the hope for all mortals, in turn inspires more fear than any of the demons or assassins she personally fights against. Creepy dead-eyed girl on the one hand, the perfect weapon against monsters. On the other, allies Ruthie also uncomfortable to be around her, and her renewed squad without Red, that by the way was replaced by assassin Tissa Garland, have to pick up the words in the dialogues. Otherwise followed by death, no one will cry. Bligo Red, in contrast to his sister, so global troubles in existence are not. On the contrary, his daily life in Zoltan is a heavenly delight with interruptions for some minor skirmishes with envious people like Albert. Knights of the Ranked is the last high-ranking adventurer in Zoltan. You see, unhappy with the happy and simple life of the Red. The guy in the armor doesn't understand what it's like to wake up with his beloved, work for himself, and get high on easy joys. Albert's not like that, no. He'd like more fame, more money to be noticed and hailed as a great hero. And in fact, if you get behind the scenes, it turns out that all the greatness of the cool and powerful people are held by such simpletons as a rare. Without them, everything in society falls apart and goes out of control. Some start doing the work of others end up doing nothing. That's why the same heroine squad has begun to crumble in a hurry. Ruthie is increasingly a threat to allies, and allies like Erez don't understand how to even communicate with the girl, what to do to keep from flying off her kick, although they are not also clear-cut, and while the strongest are in a time of turmoil. Red seems to be in control of the situation in the city too, and a nasty epidemic of medicine powder delivered from the black market has descended on gold, causing serious addiction, and it seems that soon G and Rita will have to face big problems. And the peaceful, quiet, beautiful, and kind light together with warm milk as in childhood will be put aside in the background, and the first to come the solution to the constantly appearing difficulties, such as hidden demons don't eat, and what are the X's in Zoltan? Yes, inconspicuous on the maps, the city will soon be shaken, because at once, powders piling up, drugs taking over the market, demons disguised as cheating adventurers can't be broken. Zoltan has fallen under the influence of a large faction. However, perhaps it will stop soon, as a Ruthie walking around the world with a group has found something interesting in the demon dungeon after the battle. Technology from a lost civilization, an airship, and on it. Sister, after a long separation from her brother, finally decides to return to her closest person, who meanwhile is immersed in the Zoltan wars with strange demons. Their strangeness lies in the fact that in the world of demonic creatures, society is divided into two warring camps, and one of them wants the support of humans, or rather their bodily power. In short, there are relatively good demons with whom you can have a dialogue, and there are bad ones with whom you can talk except with language more. I'm oversimplifying though, because these demonic allies who left Zoltan during the extremely difficult situation around the fighting monster men somehow reached the shelter Rudy, which the demons put their latest development, reinforcing powder. That's how all the puzzles in the picture, that's how all the lines crossed in a web. Demons are good, are the main suppliers of disease for people. What to say about some people if they manage to get even the hero into this damn powdered drug and cause a ruthless addiction, which prompted the girl to look for new portions of the goods. And all large parties are in Zoltan, where she eventually flew in, taking with him as the most trusted friend of the U. However, instead of an easy walk through the peaceful city, Ruthie, after walking a few meters on the advice of the U Scout, stopped by to visit a doctor who might also be developing all sorts of medicines, and naturally he turned out to be a Red. Emotions from the accidental connection of the family were many, and though Ruthie is not subject to feelings for the most part, the meeting with Red moved her all the same. However, it seems that she forgot or did not want to tell him about her problem with the drugs, and therefore Red did not even notice how his little sister was slowly going crazy. And not just from taking forbidden drugs, but for mental contradictions as well. After all, it turned out that Ruthie now does not want to be a heroine saving the world from demons. One became a poor man to be a shield of the earth, though how not to get tired when against the background of other girls, such as Rita. The heroine feels like a machine, not a man. And live from goal to goal is not cool, imagine. You do not even get the right to choose. And allies in the group, the same areas, directly insist on continuing the adventure heroine for the sake of victory. That is, in this world, some people are literally obsessed with following the legendary ancient rules and personal beliefs. Other views on life are forbidden. In the minds of most narrow-minded people, there is only the law. If you are a hero, then you are waiting for endless battles. And the sad thing is that it is very easy to indoctrinate people with such views with bad thoughts. Again, Ares, which is obsessed with the heroism of Ruthie, was subjected to the deception of a hidden demon. And not a random monster of a low-level pawn, the very real boss Odin, when you're standing in the battle raster with the heroine. And to understand that Ares is manipulated by a guy could not guess, his brain is already off, and his body was taken over by madness, irritation at the sight of the brother of the one for whom Ares is ready to do anything. The very existence of the Red undermines the whole plan of God. Because of the boy, the girl warrior began to show emotion, which is unacceptable for a heroine. And Ares, coupled with his beliefs and indoctrination of the Red Schizo, began to act too radically. He was just trying to kill the Red guy. He started to get all sorts of crazy ideas and spells, and he got all sorts of crazy ideas. Plus he's aided by a demon, hitting a weakened Ruth. Shiz wants to put all his remaining strength into the hands of the sword, an ancient artifact. By demonic design, when Shiz is able to get the heroine to pick up the cursed sword, the powerful assassin's body will react from the powder she previously took. And coupled with the power of the sword, the Ruthie will be transformed into something else. A real weapon that will throw itself uncontrollably at people. In the meantime, Reed has had time to deal with Arax. At least now he will not be disturbed by his presence, so it is possible to concentrate all attention on the sister trying to kill her own brother. And it seems that the Shiza has managed to implant the girl with the enchanted sword after all. That's why the only way to free Ruthie from the trance is to take away her weapon, and not to hurt her. And luckily, Red has a skillful hand and incredible acrobatic movement. He takes away the artifact from his little sister, and takes her to recover in Zoltan under his control. From the same day the demon dyed Ares disappeared, the protagonist was able to return to everyday life again with his beloved Ritaka, and with the native Ritaka, who had discarded the hero's permanent job. The end of the first season. Well, a few words lastly. The anime got kicked out of the Heroes Guild because I was a bad companion, so I decided to live in the middle of nowhere. Is more of a romantic drama than an ordinary fantasy with a certain goal for the main character in the form of the same quest with a victory over some great evil at the end. In our case, the protagonist is caught in a love affair loop. In the end, instead of revealing the world, we were revealed just the characters, which is not a bad way to feel their feelings for each other. And for sure, such a decision pleased someone watching. However, I'm a closed-minded person and I'm used to being drawn into the history of the world through the world, not through the characters. Therefore, the narration seemed to be artificially slow, which does not allow me to say that this anime is perfect. I even have generally pretty good characters. The world itself didn't turn out to be very engaging. And that's it for me for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.